Today we're going to move on to lesson 3 of our unit 2. This is called changes of state. Matter matters. How can matter change from one state to another? Matter can actually gain or lose energy from its surroundings, and because of that, it'll cause it to have a state change. If the energy of the particles changes enough, you can have a change in state. Remember we talked about if you gain energy, you can go from a solid to a liquid or a liquid to a gas. If you lose energy, you're going to work backwards in that area. So you can go from a gas to a liquid, liquid to a solid. Pages 98 and 99 do question 5, letters A, B, and C, and question 6. Solid science. How do solids and liquids change state? If enough energy is removed from the particles of a liquid, that substance can actually become a solid, and this is called freezing. So remember, we're taking energy away from a liquid, and the liquid can become a solid through freezing. If enough energy is gained, the opposite of freezing, if enough energy is gained by the particles of a solid, that substance can turn to a liquid, and this is called melting. All right, go to page 100 and try apply number 7. Dropping in on liquids. How do liquids and gases change state? If enough energy is gained by the particles of a liquid, the substance can actually become a solid. So we're talking about the substance can become a gas. We're talking about a liquid gaining energy. If it gets enough energy, particles moving fast enough, it can actually turn into a gas. So try page 102, number 10, compare. You may need to read a little bit about evaporation and boiling above it to answer the question. Let's talk further about how liquids and gases can change their state. Evaporation is the change of state from a liquid to a gas at a certain range of temperatures. Every liquid would have an evaporation point where that liquid would become a gas. Evaporation occurs at the surface of the liquid. So what that's saying is, if this is the surface of the liquid, the molecules here, right at that interface of the liquid and the surface, are the ones that are evaporating, that have gained enough energy and are now becoming a gas. It wouldn't be these particles down here farther in the liquid. It's not evaporating from the bottom. As you can tell from this picture, it's going from that top surface area. How do liquids and gases change state? Boiling is a rapid change from a liquid to a gas. It occurs at also a specific temperature known as the substance boiling point. So each liquid would have a boiling point. You could find the boiling point for the liquid, and it would change from a liquid to a gas. If enough energy is removed, so now we're taking energy away from a gas, the substance can actually turn into a liquid, and this is called condensation. We've talked about this in class already, where the picture here shows a leaf with dew on it. That happens in nature, so you've got water gas molecules floating around in the air, and at night, like right now, the temperature is getting lower, so it's slowing down those gas particles, and their energy state is becoming lower, and as their energy state lowers, they would actually turn from a gas to a liquid and cause condensation to happen on your car, on the leaves, on the grass. All right, now take a turn at a condensation question on page 103. You've got 2 of them, 11 and 12, so pause the video and try your questions. How do gases and solids change states? This is something very interesting. Sublimation is the change of state from a solid and it goes directly to a gas. So something like dry ice or mothballs would be examples. Dry ice, if you were to put it on the table and it were to change state, which it would go from a solid to a gas, would change state, you would see no moisture, no indication that it went through the liquid state, because it doesn't. It automatically changes right from the solid state to gas state. That is called sublimation. Deposition is the change of state from a gas directly to a solid. So that's kind of the opposite of sublimation. Sublimation is going from a solid to a gas. Deposition is going from a gas to a solid. In your book, there's a great picture of deposition. So their example is an icy window. So you have gas floating around inside your house, water molecules, okay, not a dangerous type of gas. You have water molecules as a gas floating around in your house, at night, when the temperatures get low enough and those gas molecules come in contact with your windows, which are cold, can actually turn the gas molecules directly to a solid, and you'll have like an ice on your window. What happens to mass during all these state changes? In a state change, during the state change, the size and the number of the particles of the substance do not change. What you start with, if we're going from a solid to a liquid to a gas, you end with. Just because you have them more closely packed together or getting more and more spread out doesn't mean that you've lost them in any way. It's just that they spread more and move about more. The distance between them changes, but the number of particles does not change. Mass is conserved. We'll actually have a chance to demonstrate this through a lab experiment, so make sure you do your visa and fill that out so that you can participate with us. There is a little YouTube video here. I don't know if you type in that direct link, if it would actually work, but we'll play it in class for you. It's a little rap. Alright, I want you to do page 106, question 16. That'll be the last thing I want you to do today. A, B, and C. And then again, remember to be filling out that visa, having your parent or guardian sign it, have it ready when you come to class so that you can get in class and participate with us in our great discussion. I want you to really think of some good questions and bring some great questions so we can all participate together.